Ja, jetzt habe ich einen internationalen Star. Und Donna Leon, die hat das Buch geschrieben, Ewige Jugend, das ist der 25. Roman von Brunetti. Und meine Frage, die mich bei diesem Buch als erstes beschäftigt hat, wie kamen Sie auf das Thema des Hirnschlags durch Luftmangel?
Well, yes, just shortly translating, thank you very much for having time for us today. So interviewing you today, it's the 25th book now of with Commissario Brunettis. And there's one question. How did you get the idea for the topic of brain damage through oxygen deficiency? Is there a specific reason?
What happened was, when I first wrote the book, when I wrote the first version of the book, I killed her. And she died, and the grandmother wanted him to investigate something that had happened 15 years before. I wrote about 100 pages, but always thinking, there's something wrong, there's something wrong, there's something wrong. And I didn't know what it was. And then one day, she's dead. I am asking people to feel pathos and sympathy and sadness and horror for someone who died 15 years ago. So I said, that's wrong. It's unrealistic to ask people to feel sorrow in a book, in a novel, for someone who's been dead 15 years. And I said, okay, so I have to unkill her and make her suffer. And I thought, make her be not visibly damaged, but damaged in a way that is sure to just make the reader go, oh. Because she's beautiful, she's charming, and she's nice. She's old enough to be nice and sweet and generous and kind, but she's only 7. She's 30, but she's really 7, and she's going to be, and the reader knows that she's going to be 7 forever. When she's 60, she's going to be 7. It's horrible.
Full translation, volle Übersetzung. Ja.
Gut.
Zusammengefasst, dass also sie das Gefühl hatte, dass der Leser einfach nicht mit einer Person so mitfühlen kann, die schon 15 Jahre tot ist. Aber man muss es fühlen, man muss es greifen und deswegen diese Art. Also ich meinte, das war einfach die beste Idee, weil anders sind es auch nicht.
Ja, das habe ich schon so.
Okay.
Frau Schwank lässt grüßen. Wie wichtig ist in Ihren Augen der Status der Contessa in Venedig?
How important is the status of the Contessa in Venice? Why? So is there in this book? Yes, yeah. Well, kind of the connection. How important is a Contessa still in Venice? Is that still a big status?
There's a certain status, because usually the Contessas and the Conte are part of the families that go back to the Serenissima. They go back to the 1200s, to the 1300s, when Venice was the ruler of the world. And because of that, because Italians have a belief in the importance of and a respect for tradition, these people have a status. And usually they behave in a way, they have to be careful because they have not only their personal honor, but they have the honor of the family to defend. And they believe that. And so usually they are people who exercise some authority in the city. They might become not politicians, but they become architects, they become builders, they become librarians, they become historians. They are professionals. And they're conscious very often of the duty that they have to their family. And I like that.
Alles klar, logisch. Es ist also eher eine traditionelle Geschichte. Am Anfang, das war das, was mich an dem Buch gestört hat. Das war wirklich, dass es immer wieder Contessa, da hatte ich ein sehr, sehr großes Problem damit. Und das hat sich dann nach den ersten 20 Seiten für mich mehr oder weniger erübrigt. Wie wichtig, also es ist für Sie persönlich sehr wichtig, das auch darzustellen.
So in the beginning, it was very irritating. With all the Contessa here, Contessa there. It's not so frequent then for us, so that was irritating. So how important was the status, was that very important for you of this person, to have that person in such a status? For the whole story itself, would it have made a difference?
Well, she has to be called Contessa because that's her name. That's like saying Mrs. or Mr. But I know some people who are members of noble families, and I see this in them and I appreciate in it. So what I wanted to do was make her seem like una persona antipatica, and make her reveal herself, as the book continued, to be a sympathetic person.
Yeah.
And she does become a sympathetic person as she becomes weaker and weaker. And you see, and as you learn more about the granddaughter, as you learn about the granddaughter, but as you learn about the granddaughter, you also learn about the Contessa. Because in the beginning, you really have no idea of her problem. You just say, oh yeah, my daughter. But then as you see the granddaughter and the way the grandmother and the granddaughter are together, you see how horrible this is. And so I think some of the sympathy that you give to the granddaughter, you also begin unconsciously to give to the grandmother.
Wie wichtig war Ihnen bei diesem Roman gerade das Thema Reiten, was ja in Venedig nicht gerade wichtig oder allgegenwärtig ist?
How important was the topic horse riding for this novel, in your opinion, especially since it's not seen as a normal thing in Venice? I mean, from my view, it's you have the channels, and horse riding is a bit difficult there.
Yeah, it's almost impossible. But this gives an indication of the wealth of the family, because only the very wealthy can afford to keep a horse, a stable, a groom. And somewhere the idea came that I would use the horse for some other way. And at the end of the book I do. But that was kind of accidental, because I don't plan the books as I write them. But sometimes I'm lucky, and I was lucky in this, that she was... I needed a way for all of this to have happened outside of the city. So when I got the stable, I thought, aha, I have the horse. I have Petunia. I can use the horse at the end of the book.
Ja, sie hat ja auch das...
It mainly shows the wealth of these people.
Sie hat das auch wirklich sehr gut in dem Buch erklärt, wie man da am besten zum Pferd kommt. Und
yeah, you just slip in the horse, and then 150 pages later, there's the last scene where the horse comes back. Yeah.
I know. I know something. Wie ist es nach 25 Fällen immer noch eine Fantasie mit dieser Person Brunetti zu haben?
Isn't it a big challenge to just keep on having new sceneries and fantasies for this Commissario, for the people after 25 cases already?
It should be. But I believe in luck, and I've been very lucky. About 5 months ago, in the summer, I was walking in the city and I saw two friends of mine talking to a third woman. And the woman was explaining something that she had happened to her. And as she talked and told them, but I was there as not as an eavesdropper. She didn't know me, I didn't know her, but she talked. And as she talked, I kept thinking, and when she finished telling her story, which was about her life, I thought, my God, there's another book. But I never know when the light will go on. But it has always happened that I've read something, or someone tells me something, or someone complains about something, or someone tells me something about that person, and I think, oh my God, there's a book. Because all I need is that much. That's what I have to find. To write a book, I need that much. I need a paragraph. And then, yeah, I'm lucky.
Wow. Wie weit ist Brunetti in ihren Gedanken außerhalb des Schreibens? Also, wenn Sie ein Buch beendet haben, ist er immer noch trotzdem präsent?
How far is Brunetti with you in your mind when you're not directly working on the book? So after you finish the book, does he go away or does he stay a bit?
He's chained to the computer. If I'm not working on the book, sitting at the desk, writing with the computer, I don't think about them. It works.
Das ist was ganz anderes, wie was andere Autoren mir immer wieder erzählen.
It's very different from what other authors have told.
I don't think about them. Luckily. Very lucky. Because it means when I work, I work. And I'm sure I am. But it's in the back somewhere that I'm thinking about them. I don't think about them consciously.
Schreiben Sie schon an dem nächsten Roman? Und wie lange soll Brunetti noch in Venedig auf Abenteuertour gehen?
Are you already writing on the next novel?
The one for next year is finished. And I have about 60 pages of the next one. 26 is finished. And 27, I have about 60 pages written. So I need 300.
How many adventures Brunetti will keep on experiencing?
As long as I enjoy doing it, as long as it's fun, I will do it. And when it's not fun, I won't do it. Because it would be very dishonest why? It would be very, very dishonest.
Entschuldigung, aber du siehst mich jetzt gerade mal ein bisschen geblättet. Nee, ich habe das schon verstanden. Ich verstehe alles. I understand everything, but speaking is not good. Very bad. Wie lange schreiben Sie an einem Roman? 1 year? Oh.
And then I write it, and then someone reads it and sends it back. And I look at what they say, and I change it. And then I send it to someone else, and they read it. And then I change it. And then I send it to someone else, and I read it. They read it, I read it. So I read the book. After the manuscript is finished, I read it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. So it takes a year. Because each time the person has to read the book, and that takes some time. So it takes a year. I have to calculate 1 year. So this book that I started in June will be finished in June of 2017 and will be published in 2018. Yeah. 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 But I'm lucky.
So, dann bleibt mir nur noch eins übrig, mich zu bedanken für die Zeit. Und ja, ich bin einfach begeistert, Sie kennengelernt zu haben.
So all remains is now for us to say thank you very much for your time. And it was an honor and a pleasure for us to meet you. Oh, yes.
No, it's not. No,
Not an honor?
no, I won't listen to that.
Okay,
that's
then
ridiculous.
Then let's put it a pleasure, a big pleasure.
No. It's because that makes me very nervous. Because it's a pleasure to meet people, not an honor. It's an honor to meet, I don't know, who? The Dalai Lama, maybe. Maybe.
But his books are not so good.
I've never read them. No, I've never read them.
Yeah,
No, I
just read Brunettis, so I haven't read it either.
I would be honored to meet some opera singers, but only opera singers. Everybody else is, maybe it's a pleasure.
So big pleasure to meet you.
Thank you, so nice, so kind.
A big pleasure, yes.